It's lights out, everybody, and welcome back to the Low Downforce podcast, the Forefront Formula One podcast. And it is absolute crunch time in the 2025 season. We are headed not only to our final three races of the season, but it is a triple header, back to back to back, and then the season is done. But there's even a sprint race in there. There's a lot still to go. And we have all four of us here tonight because we don't want to miss any of the action. We have J9. We have Matt rocking the epic Howdy hat. And we have Josh rocking the less epic Ferrari hat. But maybe next year is their year. We will have to wait and see.
That was rude.
But
that was rude.
I had to get the cheap jab in. I didn't mean it, of course. But we don't want to talk about 2026. We are grasping onto the last of 2025. It is certainly exciting. We still have three drivers vying for the world championship. Is it going to get closer this weekend? Is Lando going to extend his lead this weekend? We will just have to wait and see, but we are heading to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. It is the Formula One Heineken Las Vegas Grand Prix. I know, Jane, I don't think you went to the race, but I know you've got a Las Vegas F1 sweatshirt. So we're repping out here. It is the last of the three races in the United States, and everything. They say everything is bigger in Texas, but they might everything be bigger in Las Vegas because they've got under the lights. The track goes almost a mile and a half down the Las Vegas Strip. It is legendary. It is a sight to see, and there's going to be a lot of spectacle on the track. We've gotten 4 teams so far announcing special liveries. We've got Kick Sauber, who have incorporated a finish line checkered flag into their design, signifying the end of Sauber after 39 years in Formula One. They're obviously transitioning to Audi outright next year. We've got Alpine, who I'm pretty sure just copied their 2022 livery, but they put a little more pink on the car. V-Carb has gone with a pretty epic under the lights kind of multi-chrome pattern. Very, very cool. And the exact opposite, just as cool though, Williams has gone with a full night mode, a little bit of RGB kind of accents to advertise one of their title sponsors, but a lot to watch for. How are we feeling? We're at the end. I feel like it's been a long season, but we've been chugging along. There's still a lot of excitement. Jana, and I'm jumping you to first. 3 more weekends. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm really excited about these last few races. I think that similar to last year, but every year gives its challenges. I think that we know who's winning the constructor championship, but we don't know the driver, and so that's still exciting. And I think that over the past few races, obviously Lando's been so strong, but I always fully believe that anything can happen in a race. You just never know. And as much as we can predict, crazy things happen, and it's Vegas. Crazy things happen all the time in Vegas. So I'm excited for this race because I think it's going to be something that none of us expect. There's going to be something that is just going to wow us. And I'm excited to kind of start wrapping up the season and see who's going to win.
Matt, you're my fellow McLaren fan. Vegas never been a strong track for our team, which obviously has some pretty significant potential implications in the Drivers' Championship. How do you think this weekend's going to go?
Well, they say that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I think this is going to absolutely be a crucial weekend for McLaren if they don't just get one of the drivers out ahead in front of Max enough. We still got just a race to the finish line here in the end of the season. So, I mean, I feel confident in the McLaren this year, but to be honest, I mean, this is still, it's not the easiest for Max to catch up, but it's doable. And we'll see right here basically whether he has a shot or not. So I'm really excited for that. There's a lot left in the season, even with just 3 races.
I kind of think the season's like a done deal. I think Lando has wrapped it up, but we'll see if he's been known to bottle a thing or two here or there. So we'll see if with this late lead with only 3 races left, if he can keep his lead in the championship. And I hope Piastri does way better than him because I feel like the last 2 races are just going to be super boring if Lando goes ahead and he can't win the championship this weekend, but he can make it to where he only needs like 2 points or something like that in the sprint in Qatar. So, yeah, I kind of hope Piastri keeps it close. That Lando, maybe his car just explodes. I don't know. We'll
Oh,
see.
geez, Louise.
Otherwise,
I
for
know I
Ferrari,
took the
there's
cheap
nothing
jab
here.
on the hat. I apologize. But a lot of people saying this could be a great chance for Ferrari to get Lewis a podium. Could they even snag potentially their first win of the season? They're still looking for it.
No,
Do you think it's possible? Oh, well.
no chance. The
All
car's just
right.
not good. Like
Yeah.
it hasn't been good all year. It's not going to be good here.
Well, it's certainly a unique track. It's certainly unique timing, unique temperature. We're going to head to one of the coldest races. I think if the forecast is true, it will be the coldest race of the year. They're rocking the C3, the C4, the C5 tires. It's still a street track, excuse me. So there's definitely some of the softer tires there. But is it Ferrari's weekend? Can McLaren do something? Is Max going to run away with it? Well, to break it all down, we've got Matt here, of course, for Matt's track facts to get a little more detail into why this weekend might be so different from the others.
Well, yeah. Let's see. All right, y'all. Welcome back to Matt's Track Facts. We're going to be under the neon glow, like we talked about in the Las Vegas Strip. It's actually just called the Las Vegas Strip Circuit. It's a very temporary track, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. This Grand Prix only joined the calendar in 2023, but it's already a really unique stop along the course of the F1 calendar. And it's a long circuit. It's 6.201 kilometers, making it one of the longest laps we run out of the season. Drivers are going to then complete 50 laps for a total distance of just under 310 kilometers, which is also, again, one of the longer tracks.
It actually
The
is
layout.
the longest.
Oh, there you go.
Which
There you go.
I look doing research as well. I'm going to cut in a little bit real quick. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why this is, but the requirement in Formula One, other than Monaco, which has a special rule applied, the race has to be 300 kilometers long. And so typically it's however many laps to cross that threshold. Getting to 310 kilometers, Vegas does an extra lap. And weirdly enough, the 3 American races are the 3 longest total distance races. So Vegas first, followed by COTA, or the United States Grand Prix in Austin, and then Miami. All of them do additional laps on top of hitting the 300 kilometer requirement. No clue why. Just thought it
With the
was
price
interesting.
of tickets, you better be getting that extra lap.
Why?
There you go. Hey, forget just Texas. Everything's bigger in America, right? So there we go.
That doesn't make
But-
me really happy.
But it doesn't have the most number of corners. I didn't fact check this, but I know we have tracks with more than 17 corners. The track is going to be defined, however, no matter how many turns there are, by really long straights and heavy braking zones. The lap kicks off near the paddock and winds past the massive MSG sphere before it feeds into Koval Lane. I think the most signature part of the track is turns 12 to 14, where it's like nearly a 2 kilometer flat out blast down the strip. Ben, I think you provided us the miles earlier. I will go ahead and offer the kilometers just to keep everything in metric. But you've got the Bellagio fountains, the Venetian, the Eiffel Tower. You know, you're going to see a lot of sights as the cars are flying by, and it's basically like a drag strip at that point. Just absolutely pedal to the metal. After that long straight, turn 14 is a big overtaking zone, and where the speed trap is, we'll get to see how fast these cars can push. It's a heavy braking left-hander where we're going to see, I think, dive bombs, late moves, and plenty of mistakes, to be honest. It's like straight up 90 degrees. And then after that, the cars sweep along the East Harmon Avenue through the final corners before returning to the main straight. We've got 2 DRS zones, both on those long straights. So the race consistently can deliver some real overtakes, in my opinion, not just DRS trains. We'll see. This is, again, the 3rd season. I think one of the challenges that's going to impact, for instance, a team like McLaren most, is that it's a low downforce, high-speed, nighttime street circuit. McLaren's done well considering the weather, right? And does well with some of those really, really tough corners. But I don't know. Temperatures drop fast. Tire warm-up is difficult. Maybe Ferrari can take advantage of that. I don't know. That's at least what I think, maybe. And the grip level is going to be constantly changing throughout the weekend. And because of the cold tires, long braking zones, and close walls, Vegas has a pretty, I would say moderate to high safety car probability. It's hard to say after only 2 years, but let's call it like 30 to 40%. It's still a young race. No team has really established a pattern here yet. So it's not like any team's dominated here. Results are kind of all over the place so far. But yeah, to wrap it up, the lap record belongs to Lando Norris with a 1 minute 34 second .876 back just last year.
Yeah, not a huge sample size to pull from. It's certainly worth noting. So as of right now, start time for the race, the air temperature is 11 degrees Celsius. That's 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is chilly, but not necessarily as chilly as it was last year, because for the first time, they are actually bumping the race up 2 hours. So instead of it starting at 11 local, is that right? 11 or 10 local. It's 2 hours earlier. On the East Coast, we'll get to it. It's going to start 11 a.m. on the East Coast, so it's going to be an 8 a.m. local time start in Vegas. But you got the cold. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. And if you're a new fan, go Google what this circuit looks like, because it looks like an upside-down pig. So
I like
it's one of the cooler track layouts visually, I guess. I mean, obviously it's a street circuit, so it's defined by the city itself. But
I'm sure they took the picture of a pig and they were like, what if we just turn it? And everyone in the room was like, yes, that's it.
it's certainly the more interesting track layout in Las Vegas, because believe it or not, this circuit is not the first time Vegas has hosted Formula One. In 1981 and 1982, it was known as the Caesars Palace Grand Prix because it was raced in the Caesars Palace parking deck. So I know F1 was a different beast back then, but good God, we've come a long way from just racing on the roof of a parking deck. But this layout, as the Las Vegas Grand Prix, much newer, so not as much to reference, but J9 has a little bit of a race rewind coming back to last year, the second edition in Las Vegas.
Yeah, last year was really interesting, and I think that we may see similar results this year. Mainly not actually from the winner. So last year, Mercedes came out huge in this race, and it was one of my favorites. Russell getting first, Hamilton getting second. They looked amazing on the track. Sainz and Leclerc followed, so it was definitely Mercedes, and then Ferrari just killing it. Max wound up getting fifth. There were a lot of tire situations last year where multiple drivers had to really figure out the best time for them to switch tires. Max, very interestingly, got fifth, but he was able to secure enough points to secure him the Drivers' Championship. So this was a pivotal race last year for that. And so I think that we may see similar things happening with Lando this race, in that he gets enough points to mathematically win the championship. So I'm very intrigued about what's going to happen this year, and if we're going to have a repeat in this being such a pivotal race. But I am intrigued to see, because, last year Verstappen got fifth, Lando got sixth. He did get the fastest lap, but he got behind Verstappen. So I am intrigued to see if Lando will beat Verstappen this year, and if Verstappen will get up to the podium and win the race. I do think Mercedes is still going to have a strong hold here. I don't think Ferrari is going to, as Josh alluded to. But I think last year was really key to see that pivotal race again. So it should be a really good performance this year.
We will certainly see. Now, Lando can't technically be crowned champion this weekend. He can get very close, obviously, depending on what Max and Oscar do, but he puts himself in a good position this weekend. He very much can win the championship before we even make it to the final race in Abu Dhabi. So a lot at stake for everybody. And we haven't even locked up our own Predictors Championship. We got a lot of points still at stake. We're getting some hot hands in the group as well. We're picking well as of late. So our table's tightening up a little bit, but Josh, I know you've got the full standings for us.
Yeah, it's close. You and J9 both did very well in Brazil, where I did not. I am still in the lead with 44 points, Matt 41, J9 34, and Ben, you have 32. So it is technically, with all the points out there in the three races, sprint race, technically anyone can still win, which is good. But I think realistically it comes down to me and Matt. So we'll see what happens. We've had very hot weeks as a group and very cold weeks as a group. So we'll see how well we can predict.
Now is the time to find form, and I hinted at the beginning, but the second race of this triple header, Qatar, there is a sprint race as well. So even a couple additional point chances, even if it is just between you and Matt, Josh, at this point, then maybe a couple more points swinging one way or another will decide the championship. But we're looking too far ahead. We're talking about Vegas this weekend. It is all about the city lights, and we are getting into our predictions. It is a normal, not sprint race weekend, so we're starting off chronologically. That brings us to pole position during qualifying. J9, you're the Mercedes fan. Mercedes looking good last year. Do you have them doing well again? Do you have them taking pole? Who do you have?
Nope, Verstappen.
Easy enough. That was one word answer.
Solid,
Love
easy.
it.
Let's go.
What about you, Josh?
I'm going Lando. He's gotten the last two back to back. I feel like he's feeling very confident in himself right now, and with a chance to nearly shut the door on the championship, I think he's gonna take the opportunity, put himself in a good spot. So I have Lando.
I'd certainly love to see it. Matt, who did you go with?
Yep. Hot off wins in Mexico and Brazil. I agree with Josh. Let's go Lando.
Well, we're definitely a little split camp a little bit. I've gone for George Russell. I think that George has been driving well all year, and Mercedes pulls off a 1-2. They know what it takes to win around this track. Now, every year the car changes a little bit, so are they going to be as dominant in the cold temperatures? We don't know, but they certainly have a leg up on everybody else. But pole position only means so much if you can't convert it on race day, which is Saturday night instead of Sunday. It's one of the rare night races the night before, all of that with the bump up a couple hours. We actually start the race Saturday night on the East Coast, as I mentioned, 11 p.m. But starting with that lowest step on the podium, Matt, who do you have in P3?
Yeah, I actually have George Russell. I think that the Mercedes does well here. I think they're trending upward. I mean, Kimi got P2 last race, and George he like sneaks in when everything just kind of gets haywire. So, even though they had a really strong showing last year, I think it's one of those like situations where he just kind of sneaks it out. Yeah.
I've gotten the exact same thing as you. I think Mercedes is going to be very strong this weekend. And yeah, I have Russell finishing third.
What about you, J9?
I have Russell, but now I just want to be different. Because what if we're all right? Great, we all get points. But what if I just go different and maybe I'm right? So I had originally had Russell, but now I think strategically I'm gonna go Piastri because why not? You know what? I'm gonna change it. I'm putting Lando. He's getting third.
Wow.
I know.
Good thing we don't have a separate editor. Josh is the one who keeps track of all of this, so he can update it in real time as he went through 3 different names there. I thought about George Russell, but I thought there's no way he's finishing as low as P3. I've gone for his teammate, Kimi Antonelli. I do think it's going to be a Mercedes weekend.
Double podium?
Not necessarily a 1-2, but I do, kind of spoiler alert to what I just hinted at there.
Yeah,
I do see a Mercedes double podium. I think that this is a track that'll suit them very well. And it's a double podium, and only that because I have gone George Russell in P2. So coming home side by side. Jane, I'm flipping it right back to you, seeing if you're doing any strategy on this one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to put George Russell in at 2.
All 4 of us have Russell on the podium. I feel like that hasn't happened very many times.
I feel like he kind of deserves it
because Mercedes is great.
I've got Lando. I have him on pole, but I have him dropping off and getting past. I'm not going to spoil who that is yet, but yeah, I've got Lando P2.
Something with the white hats tonight, Josh.
This is, I guess, good for me to keep the lead in the constructors or the predictors.
Fair enough. But I would Lando in P2. I think he's found his groove again. He's confident. I just think that it feels like it's too easy for it to be this simple at the end of the season. It's just been a wild season. So I have somebody else. We probably have the same guy. Maybe you're going like Isaac Hadjar. I don't know.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
Matt, you don't have to dilly-dally any longer. Who did you go with taking the top step in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think Max is one of the only
Yep.
ones with the cojones to pull off some of these moves on these the giant straights, dude. I mean, just so fast. And I think he's gonna push hard to get his second Vegas win in 3 seasons and push Lando to just keep fighting for that title.
Yeah, I think.
Agreed.
Okay, wow, 3 or 4 at least. I think Verstappen has proven he especially down the stretch has been driving the car very well. He's been absolutely dialed on setups. I think switching into colder weather and long straights, like I think he's going to really be able to be one with the car as he usually is, and I think he'll do really well. So, do you have Verstappen or Piastri?
Of course, I have Max Verstappen. I mean, I have McLaren nowhere near the podium.
Oof.
This has kind of been their bogey track. Obviously, the long straights, the cold temperatures takes away a lot of their advantages. Now, again, I said earlier on the flip side, every year is different. You know, McLaren knows they were bad last year. What can they do to improve? But for Max Verstappen, he's sitting on 49 points. If that number 49 points behind Lando Norris. He's got far, far more than that this year. But if that number trickles above 50 come the end of this weekend, he's 58 because of the sprint. He's mathematically out of the championship. And so Lando with his 24-point gap over Oscar, again, 49 ahead of Max. I think Oscar's kind of getting to the situation where he's got to take a little more risk. He's got nothing to lose. Max, especially knowing that Qatar coming up is very much a McLaren track, probably McLaren's best track of the year. We saw when it came down to determine the constructor's title, Lando won from a flawless race in Abu Dhabi last year. If Max is going to make up significant points and have any hope at the championship, it's going to happen. It's going to really cement itself this weekend. So he's got to go all out. I think I had George Russell on pole. I think nothing is stopping Max from the championship, the win, excuse me, this weekend. No, we got to take baby steps if we're Max Verstappen, but we're trying to take some big strides, especially J9 and I. We got to claw our way back, make one last ditch effort in our Predictors Championship, which brings us to our spicy hot takes. 3 times the points because it's 3 times the chaos.
We're going spicy before P10.
You're so right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited.
Spicy P10. Switch it up.
Spicy
P10.
Yeah, we're actually going to
Lando.
Michael Massey it. P10 is now worth 10 points. No, not actually. It's
We
the
can do
usual
that.
1 point.
We can do that this
I'm
race.
getting crazy ahead of myself. But Josh, since you called me on it, who are you going to get the final point in Vegas?
Okay. If you were picking between drivers at this track, would you rather Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, or Lance Stroll?
Anyone but Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll has scored more points at Las Vegas than either McLaren driver. So I'm going Lance Stroll 10. I have him getting a point. He has scored 10
Solid.
points over the past 2 years here. Lando has scored 9, Oscar 8. So, yeah, kind of in line with what you were saying about McLaren struggles here. I'm going Lance Stroll. Who would have thought?
I've gone with
Who
his
would've
teammate. I've gone with his teammate Fernando Alonso, so maybe a little groupthink. I think Aston Martin, they're not going to be great. They're not going to be terrible. This, as J9 put, this could be a very unusual, very unpredictable race. There's 4 teams on the bottom half of the constructors' standings that are separated by 20 points, 3 of them separated by 12 points. So it really is who shows up when it matters. And so I'm curious who you guys have P10 because it's all in flux right now. J9, who do you have?
Hamilton.
Oh God, that was so sad sounding too.
Because it is. And I'm depressed about it.
Do you have him
but
P10
Hamilton.
as
Choose somebody else.
Do you have him P10 as the top Ferrari or as the second Ferrari?
Oh, don't say
Yes.
that.
That's hard. Yeah, maybe Leclerc's going to crash out.
Ay.
No, every time we get one Ferrari DNF this year, we have 2. So they always double DNF together.
You just never know
It's-
at this point.
Consolation DNF. It's It's like when Lando had the slow pit stop and then Oscar had to give the decision back.
Yeah.
You crashed too. Shoot. All right, dang. And Ben, I was just looking at it. That's interesting. You went Alonso. That is his average finish. It looks like over the past 2 years. So, like, hey, statistically, I think you're right on the money. But I was just thinking,
of 2, baby.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah. Statistic people are like not happy with the sample size there. But outside of statistics, Alexander Albon, I think that just with the low downforce tracks, he has a better shot. He hasn't done particularly well here. He's got I think a 12th place finish and a DNF. So it would be good redemption for him. I think that they should be scoring more points, but I just don't see them really pushing the envelope on this race.
I respect the formality of using his full legal name, Alexander, but it is time. I jumped the gun earlier. It is time to get rid of those formalities. It is time to bring chaos in because, of course, now, finally, I can say it is time for the spicy hot takes. Yes, we know them. We love them. We're so ready for them because they're worth 3 times the points. These are critical in the championship down the stretch. J9, I always kick it to you first. You are the queen of the spicy hot take. Who is crashing and or deceasing this weekend?
Yeah. And I'm actually going against my 10th place prediction because I'm trying to, space out my points, try to get the most as I can. And I'm actually going a Ferrari double DNF.
Oh no.
What's John Elkin going to say to his team after this one? Who knows?
There are going to be some changes. That's what he's going to say. Double DNF.
So mean.
This is not their race. It's going to be the complete opposite of last year. It is just not for them.
Josh, you were groaning that she put Hamilton in P10. Little did you know that she actually thinks that both of them are going to crash out.
If Ferrari miraculously comes away with a 1-2, I'm disqualifying you from the Predictors Championship.
That's sad. No, I'm trying to get the most points, and that's like that might happen.
So you're saying that you would disqualify her, kind of the way that Ferrari double disqualified out of China this year?
Damn.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Well, okay.
Starting with a hot bat, Josh, rebuttal. I don't know if your hot take is related at all.
It's funny because my hot take is actually pro Mercedes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is the high road going to pay out?
I'm saying that Mercedes is going to outscore McLaren, who McLaren clearly has the better car all year.
Can I say that's not a hot take?
Yeah. It's not that spicy.
Just because McLaren, this is McLaren's bogey track. You just mentioned they're worse than Lance Stroll.
Okay.
They were double out in Q1
they didn't have the best
2023.
Car how many points can I say? Can I say they outscore them by 4 points?
Sure.
What number is hot enough?
Well, last
year,
for example, you just have to do
a number,
Last year, Mercedes got 43 points, and McLaren got 14.
Yeah, but
so you're going to have to give a little more than 4 points.
No, but what's the average point total of McLaren and Mercedes this year?
Oh, well, obviously McLaren is higher, but...
Exactly. McLaren's got a way better car. They've got better drivers. I wouldn't be surprised if they've outscored them in all but 2 or 3 races this year.
I mean, considering you've got Lando over George,
it's true to your predictions because you do have Lando scoring high up.
Yeah,
but
4 points.
That makes it warm.
Man, we're squeaking into bell pepper territory now.
Give him 2 points.
Yeah, but that's the spice level that you need at, Ben. So
6 points.
I think it's just fine.
Okay, I can't handle spicy food. That's for a different podcast. We can get into that later.
Just saying.
What'd you say there, Josh? 6 points?
6 points?
I'm cool with that.
Outscore them? Okay.
That's fair.
Speaking of points, though, because we've mentioned Lando's only scored 9 points here, one of those was a fastest lap point. His best finish is 6th here, and he crashed out the other race. I have that Max Verstappen is only going to gain the same or fewer points on Lando than Lando gained on Max in Brazil, which was 13 points between the sprint and the Grand Prix. In that case, if Max wins the race, Lando has to finish 4th or better for this to be true. Anything worse than a 4th, not looking likely. And we all put Max Verstappen on the top step come Saturday night / Sunday early morning.
Can I back up my hot take with some stats?
Go for it.
No.
Mercedes has outscored McLaren 3 times this year, and they've tied twice in Australia and Brazil, the first and the most recent races. Other than that, McLaren has led by 21 points. They outscore them on average by probably 20 points.
Hear me out.
I still don't think it's that spicy, but like
one of the other tracks that Mercedes outscored McLaren with a double podium was the race we were at, Josh. It was Montreal, another long straight street circuit. So I'm telling you, we're at the point.
Okay, we'll say 6 points.
Okay.
And that's that, baby. Matt.
They also got outscored because
this is the most contested
crashed into the back of his teammate.
All right. But even before that, neither of them were squeaking the podium, and it was a double podium for Mercedes.
All right,
but
Matt, what you doing?
Matt, can you get the parents to stop arguing over here, please?
Probably not. So I was gonna say something, and then Mr. Stats guy over there kind of got me thinking about mine. I was gonna say at least 5 different teams finish in the top 8, but actually we've seen 5 and 6. I believe it was 6 in 2023 and 5 in 2024. I guess that'd be kind of cool if it kept going, but let's get a little bit more specific. I think there's going to be some weird shakeups with tire temps here between quali and the race. Not necessarily at the front of the pack, but I do think that a driver starting outside the top 10 finishes top 5. How's that?
Whoa, I love that. Which is an interesting thing you shouted that out, because believe it or not, Pierre Gasly qualified P3 in Vegas last year and wound up DNFing 15 laps into the race. But Alpine is as Alpine does, you know how it be. But it was certainly an outperformance from Pierre Gasly. He was also coming off a podium in Brazil, so you never know what to expect in Vegas.
Good times.
This could be Max qualifying P17 and winning again.
Let's just hope. Let's just hope that all of the chaos is some crazy racing and no drain covers coming up into drivers' asses, canceling practices and stuff like that. So
let's hope not.
We will certainly see. There is a lot to watch for this weekend. As we've mentioned, I said a little bit of a change in the race time, but generally because it's a night race, because we've gotten that in Singapore, we've gotten that in a couple other places, but because it is in Pacific time, it is in the United States, it throws the rest of the weekend a little bit out of whack for those watching on the East Coast. The race weekend will start Thursday night, so we're putting this episode out Thursday morning. So you can listen and jump right in just about into free practice 1. Qualifying is the same time as the race, 11 p.m. on Friday night. So remember, we're a day ahead, and then the Grand Prix itself, 11 p.m. on Saturday night on ESPN. I think we talked about it, but Apple TV is taking over the American Formula One rights next year. So if you don't have Apple TV, check out this race. You've got 3 more races to watch on ESPN. Enjoy it while it's free. Enjoy it while it's awesome. We're also coming up on the end of this regulation. So if you love what the cars look like, if you love how they're driving, if you like the DRS button, they're getting rid of DRS after this year. So
That's right.
Tune in if you're loving F1 right now. Cherish it while you can. This is the beginning of the final triple header of the season. It all comes down to this. We are so happy you've been listening along all season. We can't wait to carry you all the way through the final checkered flag. But until then, everybody, stay speedy. Goodbye.